turn your video off. Perfect. We are recording. And another thing at the end at 1:30, I don't know if you guys got that message that we have a 30-minute Q&A section. You're more than welcome to stay for it. If you can't stay for it, that's perfectly fine. We're going to be using that time. I'm going to give you some journal prompts at the end, and you can use that time to journal and also share. So we're going to open it up to you guys sharing, unmuting yourselves. And there's also, of course, the private Facebook group for you to go to mingle, you know, to get to know each other.
Have we? We haven't gotten the Facebook group yet, have we?
Jean, okay, yeah, you probably have, but we'll make sure you get that, okay, if you haven't. So we can talk about that later. So definitely, we want you to have that access to the Facebook group. Quite a few people have joined. So we're going to make sure that you are able to do that as well, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn on some music. And so the first thing to do is just come on down into a seated position. All righty. Can you all still hear me? Thumbs up if you can. Perfect. All right. So let's begin sitting in any position you like. As many of you know, I use these yoga blocks to support my outer thighs. I'm sitting on a little zafu cushion. If you have anything to help your pelvic to release, bring your hands to your knees and just let your pelvic bowl rock fore and aft a few times, just getting a sense of the groundedness of what you're sitting on. So pelvic, lower back, left sitting bone, right sitting bone. Just doing this a few times. And then bringing yourself up to a nice centered position of all of those points of contact. I invite you to take your palms facing sky, bring your forefinger and your thumb together. Closing down the eyes, relax your shoulders. Let's begin to bring our attention inside. It's called pratyahara, bringing the senses inward. And just begin to notice your natural breath. Just let the breath become the forefront of your awareness. Breath is so important, as we know. Every inhale is offering your body oxygen and space. So inhale, feeling that breath entering your nostrils. And then let your breath come out, whether it wants to come out through the nose or the open mouth. If you've taken class with me, I know you all have. I love the clearing exhale. It really helps the body to relax a little bit more. And in the privacy of our own homes, we can really just allow ourselves to be who we are, allow sound to come out, allow ourselves to hear our own audible breathing. Thinking of our vessel, our body, as an open tunnel, an open wind vessel, just for breath and prana to flow through easily and often. And then let's gather our right hand on our abdomen, our left hand to our hearts. Just take a few moments here to connect with your physical you, the dantian, the emotional center inside of the belly and the heart. Let's begin by feeling our own physical bodies, feeling the sensations of our hands touching ourselves in this beautiful, compassionate way. And then begin again to notice your natural breath, just what's already happening, the inflowing breath coming in through your nostrils, flowing down into your abdomen, creating a gentle, full effect. The heart gently lifting. And then feel how that exhale relaxes the body. The belly draws in, the chest gently lowers. And then the next wave of breath enters you, and it begins again at the base of your nostrils. It's more intricate to breathe through the nose. The breath descends deeper into the body. And then bring your left hand to the left side of your ribs and just take your hand and just make a circle around your ribs just so you can feel the ribs, and flare and splay the fingers out so you're actually supporting the bones of your ribs. Relax that left shoulder, drop the elbow a bit, and I'm going to bring my attention back inside to the next breath and notice the belly responding and the left side. So the ribs expanding on the inhale and contracting on the exhale. So where the hands are resting, the mind's attention is flowing, and we can really direct our breath, our prana, into our body by touching the body. Do you feel the ribs expanding, opening, spreading out, and then contracting and drawing in? And then switching your hands, place your left hand on your abdomen, right hand on the right side. And again, I'm going to do this little rub here so I can actually feel underneath the flesh and onto the bones. And then just really spread the fingers out, relax the shoulder, drop the elbow. Attention drawing back inward to the next inhale, filling your belly, filling the right side just by the breath. Every breath is an invitation to be here and now, right where we are in this very moment. And then replacing the left hand to the left side, cradling both sides of your rib cage. Relax your shoulders. Feel the ribs beneath all of your fingers. Bringing balance to all sides of our body. The front of the body is affected by this inhale, the back of the body, and both sides. And as you breathe, I'm going to invite you to just kind of adjust your ribs a little bit. If you can see, I'm moving a little bit right and left. So the ribs moving a little bit, just a few inches here to the right, here to the left. And then see if you can draw some circles around the pelvic, very, very tiny little circles so that you can still feel the ribs moving, but also now getting a little bit more mobility into the base of the spine. And then from there, we're going to place our hands to our knees and start to bring the ribs a little bit closer to the left and a little bit closer to the right. And then bringing your ribs over to the right, hinging forward. Many of you have done this exercise with me before. It's called the Sufi grind, leaning over to the other side and then rounding your middle back as you come towards the back of the sitting bones and the tail. Inhaling for half of your circle and then expelling through the other half. So I'm going to invite you to open the mouth and just go, allowing that old gas to come out of the lungs and the body. It's like you're touching all of the numbers of a Big Ben clock. So you could close your eyes or look downward. Of course, look at me anytime you need to. But really, this is all about the internal body's information, right? What comes up with every inch that we're moving, every breath that's flowing. Good, keep going. And then gently pause wherever you are and go the other direction. Just as slow, just as mindful, just as breathful. Keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed. How's that breath? Can you hear it? Can you sense it? Later on in our program, we're going to be doing Kundalini yoga together. So this is an example of it. It'll be a little bit different. Have a little bit more rhythm to it. And then come back to center, relax the shoulders. Take a moment to feel. And how I like to feel is by returning my right hand to the belly and the left hand to the heart. And in our lovely mothership Kripalu, we call this a sacred pause, pausing to notice the reverberation of the energy that we created by doing that movement, that Sufi grind, that opening of the central channel. Deeply breathe. And then from here, I'm going to turn to the side. I'm going to come off my props at this time just so I have a little bit more mobility. So bringing your hands to your ankle bones or your shin bones, and just begin to tilt the tailbone forward and then back, back and forward. So we begin here, right at the base of the spine, and then we just gently begin to move upward. So from the tail to the sacrum, the lower back, into the mid back. Imagining you're sitting in a rocking chair and you're rocking forward and back. Inhaling, exhaling, using your breath, hearing the breath. Good, keep going. Good. That looks wonderful. And we all move so differently. So just find your pathway into your body. Let's do about 30 more seconds. Just getting the hang of it, really. Feel your shoulders releasing away from the ears as you bring your heart and chest forward. Let's do about 10 more seconds. And when you're ready, take a long inhale, lift your heart, pull away from your shin bones or your ankles, long inhale. Hold the breath within your body, suspend it, pull the belly button towards your lower back. That pushes this energy that you built within your body, extending it through the spinal column, that central channel, all the way to the brain. And when you're ready to let go, rounds of the spine, fully expel through the open mouth. Dropping back to the back of your sitting bones. Drop your chin towards your chest, shoulders towards the waist. Feel the opening of your middle back, the spreading apart of the shoulder blades. Deeply breathe. Fill that space of your mid back with your breath. The breath allows space to happen. I'm going to keep my eyes closed as I gently pull my way back up to a nice erect position from the tailbone all the way to the crown. And then just simply float your hands to your lap, maybe 4 fingers and thumbs touch. That beautiful mudra, Yana mudra. The wisdom and knowledge that comes from within you is here and now. Just notice what you feel. Again, any energetic releases through the body. Sensations, vibrations, change of temperature. What's the weather like inside of your body? Is there any wind flowing? Now, I'm going to invite you to take your hands to your knees and stretch your legs out. Give them just a little piston, little pummel, but we're going to come back in. So just kind of pump the legs a few times. Now, depending on your body, some people like to recross in the opposite direction. My knee doesn't like that, so I come back into the same position. But it's super personal, whatever feels right for you. And then from here, let's take our arms out, parallel to the ground. Bring your shoulders way down and just simply open and close your fingers with some rhythm. Another little Kundalini yoga warm up for the central nervous system. Some of you might have done this with me before. The Kriya is called Give Me, Give Me, Give Me. Give me what I came here for. Healing, energy, vitality, compassion for myself, acceptance for myself, peace, serenity, calmness of mind and body, community, all the wonderful things, clean air and water, healthy food. Just opening and closing a little longer, breathing in and out. And then from there, reach your hands up above your crown of head. The heart was listening, so we're going to bring all of those want me's right into the heart. Relax your shoulders. Take a moment, if you would, to press your thumbs against your beautiful heart and just notice what's true for you in this moment. Your heart beating, your breath flowing, your aliveness. And then we're going to begin to open up the wrists a little bit more. So gazing down at your hands, we'll do our flowing Om Mudra. So if you look at your hands, you probably won't be able to see me as well as your own hands. So separate your pinky fingers from one another, the fourth fingers, the third, and then bring your four fingers and thumbs together. Looks like eyeglasses. And then just take the backs of your hands and start to let them slide against one another. And I'm going to close my eyes and just feel this beautiful, graceful movement as if to churn love from my heart, from the Anahata chakra, and give it out to all of you, give it out to the world, but then bring it back into the heart. This is just a really nice warm up for the little wrists that do so much for us all day long, every day. And then gently pause, turn your fingers towards your heart, and then go all the way down through the lower chakras. So from your heart all the way down as you breathe. And then let your hands just float upon your lap for a moment. Let your wrists recover and integrate that warm up. Continue to notice your breath. One breath at a time will keep us present or returning to presence. And then from here, bring your arms back out parallel to the ground and just start to roll the hands around the wrists. And as you do so, keep sending the shoulders towards your waist, breathing in and out. Nice and slow, feeling every little thing. You might hear some air pockets. You might feel some releases. That's all good. And then begin to fold in at the elbows and let your fingers spread and comb the air. So you're going to start to feel this a little bit more in your shoulders, breathing in and out. Beautiful. And you can explore with the size of these circles. They can be a little smaller, and then you can start to, bring the hands towards the head a little bit more. And then gently pause and then go out and just go the other direction as you breathe. And then extending your arms straight out, bring the shoulders down and then turn so that your front of shoulders face me, and then turn your palms facing sky and just feel the difference there. Slowly rotate until the front of your shoulders face forward and then all the way back as you breathe. Just do that a few more times. Inhale and exhale. And then from here, let your hands float to your lap. Bring your awareness to your shoulders and let them melt down. Because even though we're doing warm-up, sometimes the shoulders get a little bit tense after an exercise. Breathing in and out. And we'll do another reset for the side of our body. So at this time, and if at any time you need to extend your legs out forward, feel free to do that, okay? But bring your hands up to your shoulders, press the shoulders down, and then we're going to rotate from our belly button to the crown of our head to the right on the inhale, and then turn from your belly button to your crown as you exhale, ha, to the left. I wish I had a microphone at my back because I just felt a whole bunch of releases and they happen on the exhale. So ha, ha, hara exhale, ha, 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 ha. Eyes could be closed so you don't get dizzy. Ha, 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 ha. About 10 more. Ha, 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 ha. And then inhale full and deep back to center. Deep breath. Hold the position, press the shoulders down, exhale. Inhale again, open up the shoulders with your hands. And as you exhale, round to the upper back, drop your chin and bring your inner eyes of elbows towards each other. And then inhale, scoop your heart up towards the sky, looking up above the building. And then exhale, round, look down below the building. And then find a nice gentle rhythm. Working more on the middle back here and the upper back. Deeply breathe and then fully exhale. Like I often say, the breath is like water. So instead of turning the spigot of water, you've turned the spigot of air on inside your body. A few more. So your hands are assistants. They're assisting your shoulders back. And now on this one, open up heart, chest, and lungs a little bit more. Spread the collarbones out, look up, and then float your hands right beneath your shoulders. Scoop your heart up towards the sky. And I'm going to invite you to just adjust your weight from fingers to fingers, left to right. Beautiful. And then we can stay here, or we can venture to lift our glutes off the floor and just gently encourage the pelvic floor forward, gazing up towards the sky. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Take a couple deep breaths, working the breath to your upper chest area. Notice when you inhale, the body lifts a little bit because it's like you're being filled up, almost like our physio ball, right? And then when we exhale, the body lowers a little bit. It's like we're letting out the air. And as you exhale, gently bring your hips back down and just turn your fingers out and do extend your legs straight forward and big time pummel. So piston those legs up and down. Hopefully you don't have a neighbor downstairs. My neighbor's used to me doing this stuff, so. Good, and then gently pause. And then from here, start to push from your hips to your toes, just pushing and even looking down, getting that mind-body connection. So adjusting from your hips all the way to your toes. So fascia needs movement, it needs circulation. So feeling springy in your fascia. And then begin to circle the feet around the ankles. And again, I'm going to look down at the ankles and the feet, and I'm just going to watch what's going on there. Because when we see the body, we'll see, well, one side might move a little bit easier than the other, just depending. And when the mind is on board, the body follows a lot easier. And then let's go the other direction. How's your breathing? And then flex those toes. So really flex. I just showed you by lifting my foot. Good. And then point your toes and flex and point. And really feel the difference in just adjusting the foot's position, right? So as we dorsiflex, you're saying, oh, wow, I feel my calves and my hamstrings. When you point, you're connecting with the front of the leg, the shin and the front of the thigh. And then hold the flexed toes, looking at your toes. Can you open up the space between each one? Happy yoga feet. And then lift a hand, shake out the hand and wrist, place it back down, and then the other one, and then bend your knees. Take your feet about as wide as your shoulders, maybe even a little wider, and very, very gently begin to windshield wiper. So the wider the stance, the more opening you're going to find in your pelvic, in your hip joints, in your inner adductors, as well as the knees. Pardon me, I think someone's joining. Perfect. And then as you go to one side, you're going to lift the back arm, wrap it all the way around the back of the shoulder. Take a moment and a deep breath, and then exhale. Just release it all the way to the other side, and then go to the other side. That outside arm wraps around the back of the shoulder. Deep breath in, exhale. And then we'll do this quite a few more times. Going back to the other side, wrapping the hand around the back of the shoulder. Deep breath in, exhale. Good. Come all the way up and around, wrap around the back of the shoulder. Deep breath in, exhale. Now, as we go over to the right side, we're going to grab our blocks. So we're going to do our dolphin dive series that I love so much, that people just say, can we just do that? So here we go. So we're going to take our blocks. Hopefully you have them. If you don't, you can use books, and you can also just put your hands on the floor, but it is nice to have the blocks to give you the lift. So one of the blocks I put on the second level horizontal, or vertically rather, on the shin bone side, and one on the thigh bone side. And then we're going to face this right leg, press the hands to the blocks or to the floor, drop your shoulders, pull your elbows in. You always want your arms to support your spinal waves. Lift your upper chest, look up towards the sky, and begin to hinge at your elbows, and apply your belly, rib cage, chest over the right leg. And as your forehead comes down, tuck your chin, and then push away from blocks or floor and unfurl your spine. We'll do this many more times. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your chin, feel the front of your spine stretching all the way down. And as you come back up, tuck the chin, feel the back of your spine stretching. Inhaling and exhaling. Repetition is a great teacher. So as we begin to do these movements over and over again, the body will start to understand and just release that much more. Good. Keep going, finding your breath. This looks lovely. Beautiful. Nice and slow. Most important is that we're listening to our bodies and we're breathing into them. Eyes could be closed. That feels good for you. I'm a big lover of closing eyes because I do a lot of Kundalini yoga, and really it allows the other senses to come up to the forefront. Let's do a couple more. Now, I'm going to invite you to inhale, lift one more time, everybody. And then I'm going to push into the blocks or push into the floor and begin to slowly stretch your belly, ribs, and chest over the leg. Take one block with you and place it right off in front of your forehead. Bring your forehead down to the block. Hands can support the sides of it. And very gently, if you have the block, you're going to roll across the forehead and brow line from temple across to the other temple. Nice and slow. Breathing in and breathing out. Beautiful. And again, I highly encourage sounds because it's another way that the body can release tension. So I love that we're all in our homes and we, can really let sound come out. And then just gently pause in the center of the eyebrows. Linger here for several deep breaths. Follow your inhale all the way down into your abdomen. Let the inhale fill your ribs left and right and the upper chest. And then as you exhale, just let it all go. Let the air come out. Maybe some sound. And then from there, the invitation is to extend your left leg. So I'm going to extend my left leg behind me, keeping the forehead on the block, or if you don't have a block, you can stack your hands and just rest your forehead on that top hand. So we're extending the left leg, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm rocking my pelvic, coming towards the center, but then I'm drifting out towards the right glute muscle. Sometimes the head will lift, but the block is there, hopefully, or the hands, so that you don't strain your neck to do these exercises. We want to keep the neck supported. So we're just rocking several times, getting deeper into the connective tissue around the right hip joint. And then find a comfortable position. So what I do, and as many of you know, I have a hip replacement. I've shared that in classes, but I'm going to roll out to the glute muscle. I'm going to just land weight into it as much as possible. If you need to adjust it, please feel free. This is all about you finding what works for your body. And then I'm going to bend my left leg. So if you can see this, I'm bending my left leg and I'm flexing the heel of my foot as the heel comes towards the back of the thigh. And then as the lower leg lowers back down, I'm pushing through the toes. I'm stretching the front of the ankle and the front of the shin bone, and just pumping this beautiful energy into the front and the back of the leg. But also, this is for our knee health. Super important that we do this movement daily. And then take your shin bone perpendicular to the floor, straight up and down, and just swirl the foot around the ankle as you breathe. And then swirl it the other way. And then really give a strong flex to the foot for a moment, like you're putting your footprint on your ceiling. And then bring the inner ankle back down to the floor. Slide your block over so that it stays underneath your head or your hands. And let's all place our hands beneath our shoulders. And before we lift, slide your shoulders towards your waistline, hug your elbows to your ribs, take a deep breath. Engage your belly button towards your lower spine, tuck your chin towards your chest, and very slowly unfurl your spine, walking your hands up towards your leg. And as you arrive upright, I'm just going to shift the torso to the center and rest. Just take your hands to your thighs and just take a couple breaths. And as you're sitting here, you might notice the left hip. And so we're going to be working on that hip in a few moments, but just taking a few moments to breathe and just being aware of any shifts or changes within our bodies. And then I'm going to take the blocks and I'm going to place them over to the left side. Bring your hands behind you, and we're going to, as I call it, cleanse the body's palate by going side to side. Super slow. Now we're going to add something here. So as the leg in the center touches down, I'm going to invite you to look at it and just give it a little push from the hip to the knee, as if you're trying to stretch your knee towards the camera. Just a gentle little push, offering the hip more range of motion. And then let's all land on the left side. Take a couple deep breaths here. Just let the weight land into the right glute. And then walking your hands upward. You're going to turn now to the left. So from your belly button all the way to the left, grab your yoga blocks. Place them on either side of your leg, one on the shin bone, one on the thigh bone. And again, if you don't have the blocks, you can use your hands. You can make fists so that you get a little bit more lift. Start with your upper chest. Lift the upper chest like there's a string on it and someone's lifting you up. Lift your chin and then begin to slowly stretch and apply the belly first. The rib cage comes next. The upper chest, and then the forehead releases all the way down towards the floor. Tuck your chin deeply, push away from the floor or the yoga blocks, and unfurl your spine. And just like we did on the other side, we're going to do several more. Inhale and exhale. Find that wave-like quality of your spine. And every time you come forward, gently guide the shoulders towards your waist. I'm going to take a peek at you all. Looks beautiful. I think I've cut my head off here, so I'm going to lift up a little. Good, keep going. This repetition is super important. Because think about it, if we just did a few, we wouldn't really warm it up as much as if we just continue on, giving the spine more opportunity. How's your breathing? Noticing if we're in a holding pattern is a huge part of the practice and of life. I've shared that acronym with many of you, LIFE, long inhale and full exhale. So every inhale brings us back into our presence, our inner world. And every exhale gives that body permission to let go, drops you deeper into your moment. And then we're going to go ahead and take our block if we have it, that one lone block, or again, you can use your hands and just rest your forehead down on either your hands or the yoga block. I like to put my block on the second level horizontally and place the hands to the sides of the block to support it, and just begin to gently roll from your temple across your forehead and brow line to the other temple, giving a wonderful massage to this frontal lobe of our brain where so much mental activity is happening. So we're just calming the mind, which will help to calm our bodies, calm the central nervous system, slow everything down. And come to the center of your block or your hands and just rest here, feeling again the breath entering the abdomen space, pushing against the inner thigh bone of that left leg. And as you exhale, feel the torso dropping deeper. It's a great time. We didn't do it on the other side, but it's a great time to relax your jaw. So wet your lips and rub them against one another, and then open the mouth. Separate that lower row of teeth from upper row and just begin to shift that lower row of teeth left and right. I call this cow chewing grass, side to side. And then see if you can stir the lower row of teeth all the way around the mouth. The jaw, of course, is super important because it also connects to your neck muscles. And then pause, go the other direction, which is very interesting. And then maybe wet your lips and let the mouth just rest there. Let's extend, if you'd like, that right leg behind you. I'm going to adjust my block so that it stays underneath the forehead where your hands can be adjusted. And I'm just going to very gently do this pelvic rocking again. So moving the weight towards the pelvic and then out towards the left glute muscle. Breath flowing in and out. Turning on the breath so that the tissues around the left hip can release a little bit more. And then when you're ready, if you can, drop weight into the left glute muscle. Bring your attention to your right leg and just begin to fold at the right knee, flexing the heel, and then the shin bone will be straight up and down. And then gently lower the lower leg, extending through the front of the ankle and the foot. Super slow, feeling everything, holding space. If you ever come upon anything that feels a little bit jarring, electrical, alarming, sharp, anything like that, gently, gently come away from those places. And then as the shin bone is straight up and down, go ahead and flex the foot for a moment like you're putting your footprint on the ceiling, and just begin to roll the foot around the ankle as you breathe. And then try the other direction. And then we're going to slowly return the inner ankle back to the floor. I'm going to again adjust my blocker hands so that they stay underneath the head. And then if you need to use your hands, you have your hands under your head, we're going to use them to place underneath our shoulders. This is going to help us to come up with care. So the hands are now under the shoulders. Take a deep breath. Pull the navel in, tuck your chin, and on exhale, very slowly, come up through the spine. We've been directing our blood flow here away from the brain so it can feel a little bit dizzy maybe when you arrive upright. And then just rest your hands upon your lap for a couple integrative inhales and exhales. And when we pause, it's a great opportunity to be aware. And as I often say, we can't really feel the changes when we're in the poses or when we're in the movements, but when we come to a pause, sometimes we can really feel the effects. And then from here, moving your hands back behind you. We're going to go ahead and windshield wiper a few more times just to clear things out. One last time here. And then add that little scoot if you'd like. So from your hip to your knee, like you're trying to reach your knee towards the video camera in front of you. And then go ahead and flip both legs out. Bring your soles of feet to touch. Just kind of rock on the sitting bones left and right. And then we're going to do the clamshell. So closing the knees all the way and then the other way. Super slow. And then allow the legs to open up and shift your hips forward and aft. So I always start with my hands back because I can get a little bit more opening through the pelvic if my hands are behind me, and I can use them to kind of offer the pelvic a little bit more stretch. And then come forward as much as you want to, as it feels appropriate for your hips and your pelvic, and switch your hands to your feet. Drop the shoulders, and then just start to gently pump the legs as you breathe in and out. Be a great time for a big old sigh. So just breathing in and out. I'm going to close my eyes so I can really feel what's happening inside of this very tight area. Setting my attention there, my breathing, my good intentions of releasing tension. And then inhale, gently float your knees upwards towards your shoulders, and then on exhale, release the knees down. And just do this a few more times. I'm going to drop my blind behind her. Looks like I'm a little bit sunny. It's one of those really sunny days today here in the Berkshires. And then inhale, lift your knees, grab your knees, and right from this position, reach your legs out. Hold onto your knees and just start to do this, kind of rolling around the knees and moving the legs. Breathing in and out. And then bring your hands to your thighs and just start to push the muscles forward and back. Bring the hands up towards your hips, same thing. You know, when I'm teaching at Karpalo, I often say, don't worry, these classes aren't videoed or audioed, but I can't say that here. Good, and then bring your hands back to your knees, because boy, those knees get pretty sensitive sitting in a cross-legged position, and even the exercises we just did. And then down to your shins, keep that movement going. Still see some sun, but that's as low as my blinds are gonna go. And then down to the ankles, if you can reach them. Perfect, that looks beautiful. And then if you can reach your feet, great. I know our friend Michelle is in Florida. She's probably got warm feet, but some of us are frozen. And then if you can, take your hands, and you can also bend your knees to do this, right? If you can't reach your feet, and just start to circle the feet around the ankles. I'm gonna invite you to drop your chin once you see what I'm doing so that your neck is relaxed, and just do this a few more times in one direction. And then go the other way. Now, if you've got your feet, I'm going to ask that you squeeze your toes. And squeeze the top of your foot. We're going to go into a little bit of self-massage here. So from the top of your foot, around your ankles, front of the ankle, and just start to squeeze. Put a little bit of, a little bit of energy into this squeeze, like a little bit of oomph. Come up through the shin, the knees again, but this time really squeeze around the knees. And your thumbs are a great massage tool because they can really get into the tissue around the knee. Of course, your other fingers can as well. And then come up through the quadricep and literally pull. Someone else is here, so I gotta let him in. Good, and then come up and do one more little shake here. And then take your right hand forward, bring it up and over on the left side of your back. Like literally grab your upper trap and just give it a nice squeeze. And then take your forefinger and your thumb and go right up here to the jawline and very gently just do a little clawing down. You can gently squeeze, like I'm doing a little pinching, and you can also pull. And you can use those finger pads to pull down. Take off my necklace here. And then come up to your earlobe and just give it a gentle little pull away. Just all the way around the earlobe. Oh my goodness. Never knew my earlobe had tension. And then come back down your neck. Another couple squeezes of the upper back. And then give your left arm a nice shake so it starts to loosen up for you. And then take your hand around your deltoid, the front and the side and the back. Squeeze down the inner arm, the bicep, around the back, the tricep. When you get to the inner elbow, do this extension and bending for your elbow's health, maybe a couple circles. Good, and then squeeze the forearm, and then squeeze the wrist with that right hand. And then bring your right hand and just pull your fingers from the joints out. I highly recommend pulling the fingers at least once a day. And then go into your forefinger, your middle finger, ring finger, and last finger, the little pinky. And I'm going to invite you to just float your hands to your lap, perhaps close your eyes and notice your left shoulder, arm, hand, and fingers. Just notice it. And then notice the other one as well, the right shoulder, arm, hand, and fingers. I just felt several releases along my spine. It's pretty awesome. So take your left hand, it's all warmed up now. Take it up and over to the other side and start with that upper back area. And again, using your finger pads and the squeeze of your hand to get into those tissues. We all have a lot of tension in this area, right? Beautiful. And then start to move up your neck, the side of the neck. And again, you can use the forefinger and thumb to do this little pinching and then sliding and gliding. Breathing in and out. And then come up to the earlobe. Just gentle little squeezes and pulls. And then back down through the neck, the upper back one more time. Give that right arm a nice shake, loosening it up. And then start to squeeze on your shoulder, the front, the side, and the back. Start to move down into the bicep, tricep, back of the arm. When you reach the inner elbow, extend and bend a few times, maybe a couple circles. And then the forearm, squeezing the forearm. And then the wrist. And then let's take care of our fingers. So I start at my thumb. It just seems the easiest finger to start with. So again, from the joint of the thumb, which we use this thumb all the time, right? It's a very, very used part of our body. And then when you're ready, your forefinger. Middle finger. Ring finger. And then that little pinky finger. And then just float your hands to your lap when you're finished. Relax your shoulders, perhaps closing eyes, to take our attention to notice that right shoulder, arm, hand, and fingers. And then hopefully the left arm is still feeling pretty good. Maybe there's a little more balance on the sides of the body, the shoulders, the arms. And then from here, we're going to take our fingers and just gently tap the crown of the head, just like a fluttering of the forehead and crown, and then back into the back of the head. And then go all the way down those scalenes along the cervical curve, the base of the skull, around that area as well. Keep breathing. And then back up and around to your forehead, and just you can drop your elbows like I've done here, and just gently tapping around the hairline, along the temples, and up to the forehead again. And then right here in the middle of the eyebrows. Be back to the temples. And then take your fingers vertically and just tap very gently underneath the eyes, along the ridge of the cheekbones, the top there. And then go into the side of the bridge of nose. Just gentle little taps, breathing. And underneath the nostrils, right into that little crook there. And then take just one hand, maybe 3 fingers, and just tap just above your lip, below your nose. And then come out to the cheeks and start to open your mouth and just let your jaw move a little bit side to side. Along your chin. And then take a couple fingers underneath your bottom lip. And then back along the jaw. And then pull the front of your neck. Literally take your fingers and pull down. You can even lift your chin, getting a little more access. Hopefully this isn't too loud because I have to wear these little microphones right here, these little furry things. And then right here in the center, fluttering taps. I'm going to invite you to use your sound. All the way around the blades of your chest, and then back through the center, like little circles. And then the center of the chest, you can do both sets of fingers or just one. We're going to be like Tarzan and Jane here. Ready? So your all muted so nobody can hear you. Ah. And then come along your ribs and just tap. Upper ribs to the floating ribs, up and down. And then take your hands. We're going to do our Ayurvedic massage here. Just relax your belly, maybe close your eyes and just give a gentle pressure and just stir right above the pelvic, underneath the ribs, underneath your chest. And then gently reverse the direction as you breathe. So in the meantime, we've been sitting in this nice open position. Let's just float our hands to our lap. Take a moment to feel just sitting upright, pressing into your sitting bones gently. Crown is extending above. And so bringing your hands to the legs, we're just going to start to shift, sort of like that first exercise, the Sufi grind, but we're going to get more into the hips and pelvic this way with the legs open. So you can let your chin drift towards your chest and just start to stir the torso very slowly. Tuning in, listening, noticing what your body is offering you here. Breath flowing in and out. And then we're going to add the neck. So the invitation is to, when you go to one side, just drop the ear towards the shoulder and then drop the chin towards the sternum, opposite ear towards the shoulder, and just float the head above the line of the shoulders. I'm not a big fan of bringing your head behind the shoulders line unless that feels really good for you. If it does, then beautiful. But I personally have a straight neck, so it's a little bit more challenging when you have a straighter neck. And then once you're upright, go the other direction, releasing the ear towards the shoulder, dropping the chin towards your chest, opposite ear towards the shoulder. And again, just float your head above the line of shoulders, breathing in and out. Beautiful. And then floating up to center, relax your shoulders. Let's take a couple integrative breaths. And if you ever want that deeper breath, this is when I bring my right hand back to the belly, the left hand to the heart, so that I can direct my attention to these two areas, so that I can fill them with air. And then let's gather our legs together. Bring your hands behind you again. One more little shift here. Flex your toes. Sweep your arms alongside your legs. Inhale them up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, hinge, fold over your legs. Abdomen is first, ribs second, shoulders, and then head last. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see my spine with the orb of light there in front of me. Inhale and then exhale. So flexing the toes, helping us to keep that energy extending through the back line of our body, because we can feel that as we fold forward. Stretching the hamstrings again. Dropping the chin towards the chest to stretch the neck. Just a few more. And then from here, inhale, let's bring our arms over the head. We're going to interlace our fingers, press your palms away, and then up towards the sky. Big bend of the elbows, like your arms are around that big ball. And then just start to slowly move the arms around the perimeter of your head, breathing in and out. These are known as the halo circles. So definitely involving the shoulder girdle, but also you might feel your upper back, your mid back. Gently pause, go the other direction. Keeping that nice bend in the elbow. Beautiful. And then float your arms all the way down. Let them come to your legs. Let the shoulders recover for a breath or two. And then if you have a yoga block, I'm going to invite you to grab one. And if you have a yoga strap or a sash or, robe belt, that's what we're going to be using for the next section. So I'm going to have you bend your knees, and if you have a yoga mat, scoot to the front of your mat. If you have the block, place it between your inner upper legs. If you don't, just keep your knees about hips width apart. And so we make sure that we have nothing behind our bodies, not even a cushion or anything, so that we can roll down the spine with care. So I'm going to wrap my hands around the legs and around the yoga block. Drop the shoulders. If you can place your full foot onto the floor, that's great. If you are not able to do that, just turn your toes up and dig your heels in. That's going to help us to lower with care. Okay? Bring your shoulders down, lift your heart up just a little. And then as you exhale, begin to round your spine. Release your hands alongside the legs. You can literally grab the legs if you need to, and very slowly guide your way down, bone by bone, all the way down. Get out of the sun there. So you're all the way down. And then keeping your block there if you have it. If not, again, don't worry. But just plug your feet into the floor. So spread your toes out like they're your hands and plug them down. So you can feel the arches lift just a little. And then take your hands like a claw right here into your hip creases. And all we're doing is tilting our pelvic bowl forward between the legs. You're going to feel a little bit of lower back space happening there. And then gently press your lower back down. Let your tailbone turn up. So we're going to be moving into the rolling bridge, which I love to do daily because, again, this helps to realign the spine, okay? And this lower area tends to be, really tight and really get stuck here from sitting, from being alive. And just keep doing that a few more times. Let's see if I turn my light off, if that helps. You can still see me. I just have orbs of light today. That's all there is to it. Hopefully you can see me. So we're just rocking forward and back. Now, I'm going to invite you to press your palms flat to the ground as well as the back of the shoulders. And we're just going to start to peel the tailbone, the sacrum, the lower back off the floor, and then come right back down. And as you do so, tilt your pelvic bowl forward. And then we're going to begin again. So it starts with pushing into the feet and hands. You're just lifting your tailbone and sacrum, lower back, maybe a little bit of the middle back, not too far yet. And then come right back down. And as you touch down with your hips, rock your pelvic bowl forward because we want that extra little release. Turn your tailbone up, then we peel a little bit more. Super, super slow. Rolling bridges. It helps to plug the big toe and the pinky toe pads into the floor so that the knees stay safer and parallel. And that's why I love the yoga block, because that helps to keep the knees safe. Now, eventually, we are going to roll up to the base of the shoulder blades. You can keep your hands pressing to the floor, or you can bring your hands beneath your lower back, interlacing them, and slide your shoulders and shoulder blades towards the spine. Pushing away from your feet. Lower your hips down to your hands if they're there or just closer to the floor, and then lift your hips again. And so we just lower and lift and lower and lift, and then just hold the position, gaze down at your abdomen, and just watch and observe 3-part Dirga breath. The belly expands, the ribs expand, the chest fills. So it's like a Buddha belly. You're trying to touch your belly to your ceiling, and then fully exhale all of the breath. Couple more of those. Inhale big, let your belly expand. And then exhale fully. Now, we're going to inhale, lift the arms all the way over our heads, reaching for the floor behind you. Take a deep, deep breath in. Push away from the floor with your feet. And then as you exhale, bring your arms over your chest 90 degrees and start to exhale down your spine. Super, super slow. So we do it on an exhale. We try to anyway. And then as your hips come back down, let your hands touch the floor. And just pause here. Relax your glute muscles, relax your shoulders, your head, your spine. Give your spine a few moments to adjust itself. So we've opened it, we've created some space and mobility, and now it's resetting while we pause. Now take your block away and walk your feet about as wide as your shoulders are wide and allow your knees to lean into each other. It looks like a capital V. Reach your arms off to the side into a V or a T shape rather. And then keep your upper back and shoulders down. Just turn your palms facing the floor. So your palms are down. Bring your attention back up to the back of your shoulders and your upper back. Make sure that they stay down and just turn your palms facing sky without lifting the shoulders. So you're going to feel a stretch along the inside of your hand, probably around the thumb joint, the inner wrist and forearm. And just do this another time or two. So press your palms down to the floor, plug all the fingers in. Your hands are pretty flat. There might be a little space underneath the palm of the hand. And then again, without lifting your shoulders, turn your palms facing sky. See if your thumbnail can come a little closer to the floor. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, turn your palms facing down, head, shoulders still rooted on the floor. Without moving your shoulders, turn your palms facing sky and see if you can get that thumbnail towards the floor a little bit more. And then from here, bending and folding at your elbows, bring your fingertips to the center of your chest and then back out into that T position. Super easy movement here, just touching the center of chest and then out to the side. And let's do this a couple more times. Inhale, touching the center of chest. Exhale, extend. And then we're going to angle our fingertips as if we're trying to reach them towards the belly button. They're not going to touch the belly button, but they're going to go towards the lower ribs. So our elbows are anchor points. They're not lifting. We're just folding the arms at a different angle. So they're coming a little bit closer to the lower ribs, almost as if you're trying to reach towards your navel. One more time. And then just let the arms, shoulders rest. So completely relax any muscular energy through the shoulders and the arms. And then we're going to turn our fingers up towards the sky. If you can see my arms here. The elbows are still down. This is called field goal or cactus position. So when I gaze left, my elbow and shoulder are in alignment, and as I gaze right, the right as well. And again, the elbows stay down, and I'm going to just turn until the finger pads touch the floor, and then turn backwards until the fingernails touch. Super slow. Nice and slow. As your finger pads come close to the floor, this is where you're going to feel a little lift of your upper back. That is completely what we want, feeling that stretch and opening there. And as the fingernails come back to the floor, the shoulders, the upper back stay on the floor. Again, this is just a range of motion exercise for your rotator cuffs. And the very next time your finger pads are on the floor, let's maintain the position. Let the shoulders lift if they are lifting, the upper back, and maybe your finger pads are touching the floor and maybe they're hovering. Take a couple deep breaths. See if you can think about the upper back area. Just think about it and then send your inhale there. Completely exhale. Rotating backwards until the fingernails are touching, and we're going to maintain this position for a couple breaths. And while we're here, feeling the broadness across the shoulders, across the upper chest, Working with that deeper, fuller breath, bringing it all the way to your upper chest and all the way down to your belly space. And then from here, bring your arms out into a T. Slide your hands just below the height of the shoulders like they look like a capital A. This is a neutral functional position for the shoulder. So we're just going to relax here for a couple breaths, nothing to do. We're letting our shoulders completely recover. And while we're on our backs, things are still realigning. The spine is feeling safe, hopefully, with the knees bent and knees pushed together like this. This is a positional release for the sacrum. And then we're going to find our yoga strap. And since I turned my position, we'll work with the left side. So bring your strap to the left side. Straighten your right leg until your leg is completely long and the toes are flexed. Take your right hand and tap the front of your right hip. Like give it little energy, give it some love, but it also helps to ground this right side because we're going to need it to be grounded to work on the left. So I'm going to invite you to just, keep your strap there. Inhale, and on exhale, bring your left leg towards you. Hold the back of your hamstring. Shoulders stay down. All we're going to do is reach our left leg to the ceiling. The foot is flexed. And then as you bend the knee, we're going to do this little, I call it the flippity flop. So it's for the health of the knee. This little flippity flop, and let your foot and ankle relax when you do that. And then push the heel up towards the sky and then release. And just do this a few more times. Inhale, push, extend, and then release. Inhale, push, extend, and release. Someone else is here. All right. And now, as the leg bends, take your strap, wrap it around the arch of the foot. So the leg is up in the sky. I'm going to slide my elbows to the ground. So hopefully your strap is long enough so you don't have to reach up like this, because when I reach up like that, you can see my shoulder just lifted. So I want to keep the shoulders down. Now pull down with your strap and saw in a very loving way your heel, your arch, and the ball of the foot up and down several times, gazing lovingly at your left foot, because how often do we look at our feet? And how often are they above us, above the head? They're very happy right now, or at least this left one is. And then ground your elbows, point and flex your left foot a couple more times. It's really simple, but can be very, very profound, just changing the position of the foot, right? You can feel that hamstring, calf, shin bone, front of thigh. And then roll the foot around the ankle a few times as you breathe. See if you can articulate and isolate this movement just in your ankle. And then reversing. And then go ahead and bring both ends of yoga strap or whatever you got there into your left hand. And I'm going to put my right hand back on my front of right hip just to give it another couple taps, just to remind it, stay grounded. And then look up towards your left big toe. Take your left big toe over towards the right shoulder, lower the foot, maybe about a foot towards the floor, and bring it back up to the left side. So over to the right shoulder, lower, and bring it right back up through that left side. So if we look at the shape that we're drawing, it sort of looks like a capital D. This is called the spiral exercise, one of my favorite exercises for the hip, for the leg. And just like a spiral does, you can start to open up the perimeter of these circles as you go along this journey, inhaling and exhaling. This is also like the shape of a labyrinth, and the labyrinth will fool you, right? You think like, oh, I'm really close to the center, and it loops you around all the way towards the outside. So eventually, your left leg, if it feels okay, the inner left thigh could even sweep against the right thigh. That's an option there. And I have a hip replacement on this side, but because I love this exercise and You know, I do these things often. I've regained a lot of the mobility back into that hip, but it still doesn't move, you know, like the other one exactly. But there have been improvements. So with time and consistency and practice, the joints will open up again, even if they're injured. Just a couple more. How's your breath? Link the breath into every circle. And as your left leg comes out to the left, I'm going to invite you to wrap your strap a couple times into your left hand to shorten it and put your elbow to the ground. And we don't want to bring our left leg too much further than the left shoulder. Maybe it's a few inches beyond. And take your right arm all the way over your head. Let your fingernails of your right hand touch the floor behind you. Push down through your right heel. Reach up through your right fingers. And then I'm going to turn my body this way so you can see that I'm going to bend my right knee out to my right shoulder. I'm going to put my hand here. This is the check mark stretch. Another really nice hip pelvic opener, inner thigh opener. So I've got my right hand on my right knee, and I'm just rocking across the width of the back space, side to side, as you breathe. Be a good time for a sigh. And then maybe make circles around the lower lumbar area, around your lower back, around the perimeter of your sitting bones, around the tail. And then gently reverse, breathing in and out. And then take your right hand on the back of your right hamstring. I'm going to wrap it around and just push the right heel towards the corner of the room and fold the leg in. So reaching that right leg out and folding it in. Left leg is still hanging out. If it's too much, you can bring your left leg a little closer. And then keep the right leg extended. You can either maintain holding the hamstring, you can reach up toward the shin. If you're someone that can reach your ankle or foot, beautiful. And it doesn't matter, but we're going to keep the legs open in an open V rocker, just a few of these side to side. Breath in and out. Coming back to center, folding at your knees. We're going to try to bring the soles of the feet towards the pelvic and then stretch the legs back out wide. I'm doing this just a few times. Bring your soles of feet towards each other. Stretch. One more time. And as the legs open, now close them 90 degrees. Bend your right knee, put the sole of the foot flat, and slide your right leg back down long against the floor. Now bring both of your straps to your right hand, and I'm going to throw all the material of the strap to the right side. Now take your left hand, put it behind your left hamstring, and just draw the left leg towards you just a little bit more to your comfort. Keep a slight little soft bend in the knee, and look at your left big toe. Cross it just over to the right shoulder, no further. Take your left hand, make a fist, tenderize your meat. So we're going to massage again the back of the calf belly, the back of the knee, the ankle, the shin. Start to move up the leg and behind it. Get all sides of it. And then, of course, the outer leg, the IT band, that strong fascial band connecting from the hip to the knee, around the glute. Oh my goodness, piriformis. You can even lift your hip a little bit if you want to get under there a little bit more. All of it is really good to do. And I always tell people, massage yourself like you want to be massaged. So give it a go. Your hands are really strong. And then take your left hand with a little pressure and just sweep the back of the leg, the inner leg, the outer leg, the front of the leg. And then we're going to reach up towards the left foot. Stuck here. One strap in either hand. Take a deep breath. Push your heel into the ceiling. And then on your exhale, slowly lower. Feel a stretch coming from your hip to the heel of your left foot, and then slowly lower, very slowly. And when the leg arrives on the floor, please just drop your straps. Try not to move or worry about the strap right now. Close your eyes if you would, and notice your left side of your body. Just notice it. Does it feel different than the right side? Can I see some thumbs up if it feels different? Yay! Do you want to do the next side next week or should we do it today? Just kidding. Bring your strap, put it over to the right side. All right. So we're going to do the right side. So bend your right leg, put the foot flat on the floor. Your left leg is now straight, and now it's the grounding leg. So take the left hand and just tap the front of your left hip. Give it some attention, give it some energy. Good job, left leg. And then bring your right foot off the floor. Interlace your hands behind the hamstring. Pull the shoulders down. We're not ready for the strap just yet. We're going to push the leg up 90 degrees and do our flippity flop as we release the lower leg. So we push super slow, really slow, because the knee can be really sensitive here. So we want to just kindly press the heel up and then release as you breathe, thinking about your right knee, thinking about your hamstring. Beautiful. And as you lower the leg, it's common to kind of hold the foot stiff. So see if you can relax the front of the ankle and the toes. Let's do 2 more. Press, release. 1 more time. Press and release. And then find your strap. Wrap the arch of the foot and send that right leg skyward. Shoulders stay down, elbows are down, and I'm hugging the inner arms against the ribs. Pull down on your strap. Let's give this foot some love. So doing this sawing massage across the heel, which is a very dense area of material, right? There's not a lot of blood flow and circulation in the heel of the foot. So make sure you take a little time with that area. And then root those elbows down. Keep a little bend in the knees. Point and flex a few times as you breathe. Beautiful. Looking up at that right foot, giving it all of your attention for just a little while. And then circle the foot around the ankle as you breathe. A few times in one direction and a few times in the other direction. A couple points, a couple flexes. And then go ahead and place both ends of strap to your right hand. I'm going to throw all the material to the right side. I'm going to give that left hip another tap, tap, tap. And then look up to your right big toe. You're going to just cross the midline of the body until that left big toe, again, is no further than the shoulder. Make a small descension towards the floor. You're going to bring your right leg back up to the right shoulder and then do it again. So now if we look at the shape that we're drawing, it looks like the capital D. We bring that foot across to the left shoulder. So we start within the frame of the shoulders so that we're warming up the hip for this bigger range of motion as we go along. Now you could take your left hand, push it down to the floor if you'd like to stabilize that side, and now explore this right hip very slowly, very breathfully. Every breath is a gift to our bodies. It's just saying, I love you, body. I'm breathing life into you. And every exhale, again, is that offering for more release of tensions, of any tightness we might be encountering. It just really releases on the exhales. And then we're going to take our right leg out to the right side. Again, I'm going to wrap my right hand into it a little bit to shorten it and put that right elbow on the floor like a kickstand. And then reach your left arm over your head. Push out through the left heel of the foot like you're pushing the heel into the baseboard of your wall. Feel the extension of this left side of your body. And then fold the left knee. You're going to angle your left knee out to your shoulder for the check mark. And I'm going to turn this way again, so hopefully you can see me a little easier. I've got a hold of my left knee. The legs are still far apart from one another. I'm just rocking from side to side. Head is still relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. Breath is still flowing. And then make a few circles around your lumbosacral ridge, touching into the outer flesh of the glutes a little bit here. And then reversing. And coming back to the center, take your left hand to the back of the hamstring of your left leg. Kick that left leg out towards the corner of your room. And again, you can either maintain holding here, or you can reach up for your outer shin, your ankle, or if you can bind your great toe, beautiful. Again, it doesn't matter. And then just let your body rock from side to side, the open V rocker, breath flowing in and out. And again, all the while, our spines hopefully are feeling supported. Coming back to the center, folding at your knees, bring your soles of feet towards the pelvic, and then gently press the heels away from the pelvic, extending the legs long. So we're folding everything in on the in-breath and exhaling everything out. One more time. And then bring your legs back together, 90 degrees. Bring your left foot back to the ground, straighten it all the way out. Tap, tap, tap the front of the left hip. And then bring both ends of strap to your left hand, maybe throw the material to your left side. Take your right hand behind the hamstring of your right leg. Gather your right leg, just draw it in just a few more inches. Again, keep that softness in your right knee. Pass that right big toe no further than your left shoulder, and take your right hand like a fist, and let's tenderize. So the calf belly, the back of the knee, the shin bone, around the knee, quadricep, hammy, IT band, outer hip, glute. You want to lift a little bit, hike up a little bit. Get in there a little bit more. Up and down, several of these. If you can get the inner leg a little bit, that'd be great as well. And then lastly, take your right hand and just sweep. Again, put a little pressure and just sweep. Whatever you can reach to. The back of the leg, the inner leg, the outer leg, the front of the leg. And then reach your right hand up and your left so that you're grabbing one end of strap in either hand. I'm going to flex my right heel, take a deep breath, pull the belly button in so that you support your lower back. As you exhale, descend your right leg all the way back down. And as soon as it arrives, please just surrender the strap, completely let go of every part of the body, your head, shoulders, arms, hands and fingers, your back body, your glutes, your legs, your thigh muscles, toes, feet. And so this is where we can kind of identify again, like, wow, okay, this is what I'm aware of now. What I'm really hoping for is that there's some lightness inside, that there might be more space for you. I often find myself that my inner world is more spacious and light, but yet my outer world, my bones are heavier on the floor. There's a more connection with my bones. And that's why I call that series Embodiment. Noticing the flowing in and out of the breath. Noticing your mind being that mentor to your mind. Just observing it. The alert witness, observing the mind, guiding it wherever you'd like it to be. I think the breath is one of the best ways that we can guide ourselves, is when we find ourselves going elsewhere, which of course the mind is going to do. We can notice that, bring it back to the next breath. the wave of the in and the out breath. And as always, the Shavasana pose is the beginning of the integration of the practice. It is going to continue as you move through your beautiful day. And that's when it's really good to be aware of shifts and changes within the body. Hold space for new awakenings, new things that might emerge later on. Whether it be something physical, whether it be something in your mind, maybe a memory, maybe an aha moment, something that just springs forth that brings something new to you. So at this time, I'm going to invite you to begin to deepen your inhale and then let your breath go. And just let your head begin to gently roll without lifting the shoulders yet. Just let your head roll a bit from side to side, almost like it's a bowling ball just being pushed across the floor with very little energy. And it'd be a great time to lift the hands and just swirl the hands around the wrists, flicker your fingers. And what I like to do for each of the fingers is flick them off of the thumb pad, so that every finger gets a lot of attention, because we really use all of them a lot. And then maybe let your hands float back down. Bring your attention to your feet. Just roll the feet around the ankles as you breathe. And maybe the other direction. And then bending the legs when you're ready. One leg bends at a time. Solo foot finds its way to the floor to stabilize that hip, and then the other one will follow. And as the feet are both down on the floor, just do a little rocking of your knees from side to side. And then maybe lift your knees towards you. Place your hands upon your kneecaps. Let your knees open and splay. A couple more rocks. Maybe a few more circles around that lower back and sacrum. And then the other direction. And then decide which side you'd like to roll upon. Whatever side that is, extend that arm out to the side. So that's going to be the pillow for your side of head. So just roll and pour over to that side you've chosen. Allow your head to land softly on that inner line of the arm. The top hand can come all the way around you and just be placed in front of the heart. Let your belly melt to the ground. Soften the belly. Soften the knees, hips, and ankles into each other. Feel the familiarity, feel the comfort of this beautiful side-lying fetal position in our bodies, but also in our spirits. And then when you feel ready, use that upper hand to ground you, so push it down in front of the heart. I like to keep the head as the last thing that lifts, and just scoot that top leg out, just kind of tracing the floor with your great toe. You're going to feel a nice stretch to the front of the hip flexor when you do that. And then maybe looking down to the floor as you now place the other hand down, and just gently press your way up into any seated position. You can sit with your legs extended. And let's bring our right hand back to our belly, our left hand to our heart, as we did in the beginning of our practice, to connect to our own body, to connect to our heart beating and our breath flowing. Noticing how you feel in your body in this moment. I hope it feels better to be in the body, more relaxed, more grounded, more available to ourselves. And if you would take your hands together into Anjali Mudra at your hearts. And I always encourage to use your sound because we are vibration and sounds. And when we use our voice in a sacred way, we tune into the divinity that each of us holds within. And it also helps us to breathe, which is a great thing. So if you would take a deep breath into your belly. One more deep inhale. Exhale with a sigh, chin to your heart. Taking this moment to honor yourself. I honor each of you for coming here and taking your time for you. And also to be together in this beautiful way, even on this in this strange modality. This Zoom is still beautiful because here we are together sharing. Namaste. Jai Bhagwan. Thank you all. So we've got, went over just a little bit, so hopefully you guys are okay with that. We've got 20 minutes to share, so I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna have you guys have the opportunity to share. Let's see here. Mute. Let's see. Can you guys unmute yourselves?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Yay! Hello. So I'm going to, if anybody wants to share anything, please feel free, but I'm going to give you some journal prompts. I'm going to give them to you here. Hopefully you have a journal. You don't have to, and you don't have to stay. This is just, I just wanted to give us some time to share, to ask questions. Of course, the Facebook group is there for that as well, for you to ask questions, to share. Because again, sometimes things come up afterwards. You'll think of something or, curious about something. I'm going to be putting things on the Facebook group as well. But I'm going to give you these prompts and you can either write them down. I'm not good with the chalkboard and all that. I'm not that advanced yet. I'll get there one day. But this first prompt, since I put something on the Facebook about self-care, it was just like a definition I found. But let's see. What was the name of the Facebook group, Jeannie? Okay, so it's called In and Through the Body, and we'll get you hooked up with the Facebook group, okay, Jean? So what is your definition of self-care? Like, what is your definition? I know what my definition is. It's always changing, right? It can change just like we do every single day. But if you want to write that down, what is your definition of self-care? And if you want to, take a couple minutes to write about that, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourselves. Oh, thank you, Margarita, for that. Yay. Margarita's in Guatemala. Don't we all want to visit her? So what is your definition of self-care? And when you feel done with that, there's no rush with that. I'm going to ask that you give me a thumbs up. Let's see. Okay. Thank you, Mary. Yay, Susie did it the professional way. She put a thumbs up on her screen. Love that. That works too. Whatever you want to do. So if you're done with that, Mary and Susie, the next prompt is, how does self-care feel? Like, what is its essence of to you? What does it feel like to have self-care? What is that essence? I hear someone singing beautifully.
Yes.
Hi, Drew.
Hello.
Hello there. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're done with that definition of self-care and how does self-care feel, what is its essence for you? And then, what are 3 things from this practice that felt like you'd want to do them as a daily or weekly practice? Like 3 things. Like it could be a movement, that's like to explain it to yourself, like, the windshield wiper or the bridge rolls, the dolphin dive, the yoga strap work. That's a whole section in and of itself. Conscious breathing. Three things. And of course, there could be more. And I'm also going to put these on the Facebook group so that you can remember them, and you can always add anything later. And the final thing is this is something that I recommend, because it's like, okay, we do these practices together. Like when you go to Kripalu, right? You do the practices and you go home and you go, what now, right? How do I integrate them into my life? So what I always recommend is to make what I call health appointments. And so if we make an appointment with our doctor or chiropractor, whoever, we usually take them seriously, right? We show up. So health appointments are something that I think, for me, they work. Like I take my, thank you, Michelle. Michelle put the Facebook link in the chat, everybody. So I'm going to check that out. So I'll take my schedule, I'll look at it, and I'll go, okay, on Tuesday at noon, I have some personal time. And I'm going to put a health appointment in there. You could put HA, you could say self-care appointment, but I call it health appointment. And then that's a time that I know that I have, that I could add a little bit of a practice in there, even if it were 10 minutes, even if it were 5 minutes, but just something that, you've got it scheduled, because I think that's what can happen, is that we can, just go, I would like to do it. I really want to do a practice, but that's kind of how we can, keep self accountability, if you will. And if something comes up, of course, it's nothing is black and white, nothing is set in stone, but maybe it would encourage you, if you look at your schedule and like, oh yeah, I wrote this down, and we have other practices that we're going to be doing, so things might change and shift as we go along this 6 weeks together. But yeah, so health appointments, I recommend 3 health appointments per week, because that seems like a doable amount, and it's spread out, so maybe like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of thing, or if you're more of a weekend person, maybe something on a Sunday, that you could just say, yeah, I could do that. I could just put in a little time for myself. And the 3 things that you liked, you could put that in there to plug that right on in. Does that make sense? Okay. Beautiful. Yay. So I would love, if you want to talk, because I know it'd be a lot for us all to speak at the same time, But if you want to share anything about anything on this list, or if you want to ask a question, or even just introduce yourself, anything like that, I want this to feel like a community, and it is already. I feel it. Do you feel it? Like it is. Oh, Drew's iPhone. Okay, let me go back. Okay, beautiful. So please feel free to raise your hand, and I'll see it, and then we'll have you unmute yourself. You don't have to share. It's just an opportunity at this time. Yes, Mary.
I would love to hear what everybody put for how does self-care feel? What is the essence? Because I've never really thought about that before, and I'm curious to hear some people's answers if they feel like sharing.
Thank you. That's a great question. Yes, Julianne.
I wrote good. That's a basic answer, but comforting, comfortable, loving, and enjoyable.
Beautiful. Those are beautiful qualities. Yeah. Very nice. Anybody else want to share about that? Yes, Michelle.
I wrote important and necessary.
Yes, Christy.
I had calming and affirming.
Affirming. Yes, Audrey.
I wrote down that it feels like love, warm, gentle, luxurious, and safe.
Yummy. That's really nice. Really nice. Linda, yes.
A bit self-indulgent.
Self-indulgent. I like that. I like being self-indulgent. Yeah. Anybody else want to share about that?
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Jean.
Hi, Jean.
I didn't write anything because I was just spaced out, and so it was all I could do to write down the question. But when you said, what are the three things from the practice, it immediately came into my mind that there would have to be a progression. Like I couldn't just go to pulling my leg back without first doing some of the earlier warm-ups. And I wouldn't be slowed down enough to do that unless I'd done the breathing. So I said it has to be the progression of things. And then I thought what does it feel like? It feels like a hunger answered. It feels like that friend I always looked for.
I'm sorry, like the what?
Like a friend that I always looked for.
Yeah, wow. That's really, yeah. Yeah, it is important, I think, for progression, right? Like if I just laid down and started stretching my hip like that with a strap, I might not feel ready. So
You probably hurt yourself.
exactly. You wanna do the warm-ups.
That would be competitive. Like, I don't know if anybody else has been competitive or in a hurry or not really there or resentful that they have to fit it in, or, like all that stuff. Just have to stop and breathe and feel all that and say, well, what do I really want to do?
Right. What really, really makes me feel good? What's that hunger about? That hunger that you mentioned. At this point, like after the practice, I don't know about everybody else, but I feel so much better, than I did when I began. So that really fuels me to return, and, an hour and a half practice might be it's a lot, but if you minimize, like if you, did the whole thing and you were, you did the centering, you did the breathing, and then you went into, a couple circles, a couple, of the earlier exercises, and then came down, you'll figure out when your body feels warm enough to do the deeper stretches. But I do believe it is a hunger, and it brings us back to wanting to feel better, you know, and feeling better is different for everybody. My feeling better now at 51 is a lot different than when I was 31. I used to do a lot of athletic stuff and very competitive with myself, really. And now I don't have that anymore because I did a lot of injuring. And also, I think just from maturing, and knowing that it doesn't have to hurt, it should feel really good. I think yoga can feel really good to the body and to the spirit too, and be very calming and nourishing. My favorite thing is to lay on the back because I have back issues. And, I've said this before in some of the classes that about 80% of us do, have some sort of back issue, whether it be tightness, whether it be an injury, whether it be a herniated disc. So for me, I love that series. Yeah, I love all that all of you shared. I mean, it should be something that makes us feel good, that we want to come back to. And again, it's the consistency of it. That's why I think that making those health appointments are helpful for me, because then I see them there. I mean, I'm teaching a lot anyway, but it's different when I do it for myself. I'm not holding space. It's different being here too. Like, I feel like I got a deeper stretch being here versus in front of a lot of people live, because I'm always feeling the energies and looking around, and I try not to look, but you can get a lot from other people. So I like to do it on my own too, to have something for myself.
I remember something that one of the, oh shoot, I can't remember his name. He was at Kapalo. He was doing an intensive, and his wife is Tara, whatever that guy's name is. He's in New Jersey. But anyways, he said, I hate yoga. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like it. I want to eat. And he said, you just show up and spend like 5 minutes. You start to do it, and then you go, oh God, that feels so good. So it's, you can hate it, but it doesn't, you just have to do it and to show up, because it's like, take the time to go to the bathroom. Sometimes that's such an interruption, or sometimes it's such an interruption to have to make good food because it's so much easier to eat whatever. But he said to just show up and just start to move. And then you just start to do it and you go, oh man, that feels so good. And so for me, that's what it's like. I have to,
I agree with
even
you.
if I don't feel like it.
Exactly. I mean, if I didn't, I don't always want to do it either. I mean, I love a lot of it, but it does take time out of your day. But the result of it, right? We feel better, that we want to give that time to ourselves, even if it's a little bit. It doesn't have to be that much. It can be a little bit. I don't know, like within the first 5 minutes of a class, I feel immediately better just by centering, right? Sometimes just this
Yeah.
one conscious breath brings me back into a place out of the mental forms, out of the mind stream, right? Because we have the active mind all the time. So when we pause that, then that feels good immediately. I often tell people, when you're in the grocery store, right? When you're looking at the magazines and wondering what's going on with the celebrities, and you're like, I probably could be doing something better than bringing that information in. I just come here. And then immediately my body is affected. So I believe in making everything functional and taking it out into the world with you, which brings us to next week's class, which is chair yoga, right? So make sure next week you have your chair. I prefer a chair with no arms, but depending on what you have available at home, they all work. I've done it in many, many different kinds of chairs, but I like to not have the arms on the chair if you can help it. If not, use what you have. But yeah, so chair yoga is something that, oh my gosh, we're sitting in a chair much more often than we're sitting on the floor on our yoga mat for most people. So it's going to help us to, take care of ourselves in our everyday life, which is what I'm hoping for. Let me see, Jeannie, do you have, let's see here. I don't have any classes yet online other than this. I'm at Kripalu like full time. And I work for senior centers, and I do a whole bunch of things, but that's coming. Yeah, that will be coming, Jean, definitely. Because I think that's important. And Audrey says, we'll be traveling on our Audrey. Okay, beautiful. Jeannie, did you look in, did you get that link that Michelle put out for Facebook group? Did you check that?
Well, it was on the chat, so I wrote it down because I figured as soon as this is over, I'll lose it.
Okay,
And then the recording of this is on the Facebook, so I can't go in on the Facebook and look at it.
yeah. Well, we'll make sure you get the recording. Okay. Yeah, because Jess, she was here. I don't think she's still here. Oh, there she is. Yeah, she is there. Need to get Jess her recording on her email. So
And I went and I tried to join, it said pending, so probably
okay,
somebody has to let me in.
gotta let you in. Okay. Can you post link to Facebook page again? Okay.
Yeah, it's gone already.
I'm having trouble with my Zoom today. If you can go out on an email, because I can't see the chat.
Okay.
It's all mixed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so you're in it. Yeah, we can get that to you. So Drew, you want it via email.
It just sent it to everybody.
Yes. And then okay.
I
But
think
some
the
of you
Facebook
guys are already on Facebook. So the people that are already on Facebook, it's just easier to do it that way. Okay, but if you need it, we will certainly get it to you. We will email you again, Michelle says. So we'll take care of it. Okay. So I hope, did you guys enjoy the session?
Very much.
Good, good,
Awesome.
beautiful. Thank you so much for coming. And again, please use the Facebook group and we'll make sure you all get on there except for Miss Jess, of course. You're good to not be on Facebook, Jess. I admire you. I really just thank you all so much for taking this time with yourself, with each other, building this sweet, beautiful community. You can always contact me, via email and of course Facebook group if you're on there as well. And I just hope you have a beautiful week. And again, I'm going to put these prompts on the Facebook group. And for those not on Facebook or whatever, hopefully you wrote them down. And let me know if you need anything, okay? And we'll get you what you need.
Thank you.
So much, everybody.
That's
Thank
an
you.
excellent first class. Well done.
Yay.
Thanks. Really enjoyed it.
You.
Thank you.
Jazz hands.
Yeah.
Thank you all. So
Thank
much
you.
love. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
Michelle.
Have a beautiful week.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.